Hey everybody, Josh the RV Nerd here at Bish's RV, and you see me cover all these different towable RVs all the time, and a lot of people are saying, yeah, but what about the stuff with a motor that you can drive? That was perfect timing, wasn't it? How about that for a big reveal? Today we're taking a look at the Solera 32DSK, and it does one of the things that I personally really like and really respect out of like any RV company. It's what I call simple where it should be and fancy where it could be. And what I mean by that is they really do a good job of checking the big hitter boxes on this thing for its class without adding a lot of just fancy glitz and glitter fluff stuff that doesn't make the RV work better. It just jacks up the price tag, and maybe it adds a little bit of shine factor to it. But you know what? This is the kind of rig where if you've got somebody who likes to do some of their own decor elements, I think you could really personalize this. But what we're looking at here, of course, we're on that Ford chassis. I don't really see a lot of Chevy chassis stuff anymore since the whole chassis crunch happened, and there is still a shortage in a lot of those kind of things, mind you. That's why there's not as many motorhomes available. They've been the hardest thing for dealers to get a hold of. Just a little nugget for you. What's interesting here is this has a 7,500 pound tow rating and 750 pound tongue limit. And there's no indication that it needs some kind of external hitching system, which is something that I had been previously trained on, that most 7,500 tow package RVs need that. Apparently, maybe with some new chassis stuff, that's not the case. But there's a couple things here, like a power theater recliner I thought was really nice, living room super slide and bed slide, and just an acre of kitchen prep space on this thing. It's got a huge countertop on it that I absolutely love. Not to mention some battery tending factory solar 190 watt package, which isn't terrible, and a fiberglass roof that you don't normally find in this segment of the Class C market. Like I said, simple where it should be, fancy where it could be. Let's take a look. Kicking things off inside here with the entertainment center, because I think it actually has a pretty good one in the way that it is directly across from a power theater recliner, which that, again, what you're going to see here, like there's some areas of this RV, I think people might say it's a little flat, it's a little underwhelming, but think about what you're going to use, see, feel, and touch every day, and they do a very nice job of it in those areas. Like we've got all hidden hinge cabinets, like they're like soft close cabinet doors, like there's some really slick things going on in there. Like a lot of motorhomes, here in the living room, we've got a 7-foot ceiling, which opens it up nicely. It is a step up, though, into the back of the RV, and what that means is that you're going to need your head in the bubble in the shower. It almost has like a travel trailer shower type size to it. We'll come back to the kitchen when I have a better look at it. It is worth noting this is completely carpetless. It is ventless. It is easy breezy, beautiful CoverGirl, easy cleaning, basically. Working our way up here, notice how that seat can spin around to give you a expanded living room area, because a lot of motorhomes, especially through the history of motorhomes, other than Class A's, most Class C's, when you reach your destination, the cab is worthless. You've wasted it. Now it converts into expanded living space, and you see how there's actually a separate cushion that goes on that so that you don't feel like you're sitting all the way down on that floor right there. Notice the little ladder holder on the right-hand side to get you up into that overhead cab area. That's a nice touch. It's nice that it has a dedicated place so it's not just sliding and banging around all over the place. The upper area here, pretty simple, pretty straightforward. I do like, though, that it has dual breeze windows across from it. That is something that a lot of, I've noticed Ford cabs on RVs, motorhomes don't have. Like, this is one of the areas where they said, we don't need to go too fancy here. Like, it's not a fancy, like, gas strutted hinge or something like that. It's just a little storage pocket. It's a headboard. I like the USB plugs in there. That's a nice little touch. But it's simple where it should be, fancy where it could be. Heated side view mirrors are great. Of course, you've got, reverse and turn signal activated side view cameras, which is awesome. And that nice big, navigation infotainment center there, that Sony job. Not a bad call here. The redesigned Ford chassis, I don't feel like we've gained a whole lot in the way of like knee room and whatnot. Maybe to the slightest degree, but I've noticed if you want to pivot out of that and then walk back into the cabin, I am still whacking my knees on that thing. We'll actually take a look at this in road mode in just a few minutes effectively. So I like to try to give you a point of view from the seating. That driver's passenger seat, the cab passenger seat, I'm an idiot, that was spun around, that's what it's going to look like from right here. So if you have some people over, or if you're the guest, this is kind of, it's a very conversational space. I didn't roll them down, by the way, but these do use MCD roller shades as compared to, like, say, pleated shades or anything like that. And what do you think about this gray decor? I see brown on brown. I see farmhousey kind of stuff out there sometimes. I like, this has a little bit more, I'm going to call it executive gray, because, nothing can be called just gray. You always have to church it up with some kind of adjective or something like that, right? Oh, this is interesting. So you've got USB plugs built into the sides of the theater seat, although I think that's a terrible location for them. Hey, furniture manufacturers, could you please put your plugs up front here so I'm not breaking it with my thigh? Thank you. And I'm not even a big, wide person. I know that there's plenty of folks who are bigger than me out there who would definitely like the opportunity to not smash and break that stuff up. Have you also noticed seat belts? Like, pretty much anywhere you can sit, you've got seat belts in here. So this can actually safely transport as many people as it can sleep. And as dumb as that sounds, you think, well, yeah, wouldn't that be a requirement? No, that is not like a thing manufacturers are required to do out there necessarily. But like I said, the kitchen in this thing is absolutely fantastic. It has a huge amount of cabinet space and some serious prep room. Like, first of all, you see that countertop extension, and look at that, guys. Turns out the RV industry actually can build one of those to be countertop flush to maximize its function. Why is that so rare and uncommon? So let's say the stove, the sink, let's say everything is in play. There's still a good chunk of functional counter space here. Although I wish they would have slid this a little bit closer to the wall. This, by the way, is a very handy little wireless charging pad, which I think is very cool. Now, let's start taking a look at, holy cow, there's a lot of storage. Where do I want to begin? Let's just start looking down here. We got drawers down to the floors down here. Plywood, full extension, guys. Now, this is a little bit shallow because you have a trash can behind it. So you're wondering, well, how do I empty it then? If I throw stuff in there, how do I get to it? Hang on, baby birds. I got you covered. This is actually a really good chance to get to see. This is a true all sealed edge countertop because everything is recessed like that big farm sink that you're looking at right there. Question: single piece sink cover or split sink cover? What is your preference? Let me know in the comments below, as it were. Side splashes. Why? Yes, this is like the second time in 2 days I've seen RVs with side splashes. Oh boy, I hope that is a good sign of things to come in the future here. As is the case with a lot of motorhomes, down below you have a convection microwave that is above, or rather below, a 3-burner propane stove. And then up here, just they really maximize the overhead storage by putting shelving in every chunk they could. What would you put behind the TV, though? It's a little bit shallow, but I don't want to waste anything, as it were. Also of interesting note, this shelf doesn't come all the way up here. And one of the things that I kind of like about that is if you have a tall family-sized cereal box, it might actually fit in there. Now, what we're looking at over here is the 12-volt DC compressor fridge. That looks to be one of the larger, say, like 10.7 cubic foot models, not one of the 8 point whatever cubic foot models. And behind that, a sweet pantry. But real quick, like I said, there's about an acre of countertop space in here. Now, obviously, let's say that you're trying to watch something on TV and there's some serious kitchen prep space action happening. Yeah, you're going to overlap a little bit, In this size of coach, there's just little things like that that are going to happen. I feel overall, though, it's a great functional design, and I try to spend as much of my time outside as I can, but everybody camps different, and I don't judge. I was talking about the pantry, though. This is all adjustable, removable shelving. So I threw that one shelf all the way up there just to really kind of highlight that fact. Spinning around here, I'm going to try to go slow. I mentioned seat belts earlier, and I realized I didn't necessarily even show all of them. Like, you saw a couple on the theater seat, but notice how they're on the back and like both forward-facing and rear-facing of the dinette right there. And then full storage overhead in the slide. It's kind of funny to me how the motorized industry has maintained overhead storage while the towable RV industry has largely gotten rid of it. But in a minute here, I'm also going to tell you an area I think the towable RV industry generally does way better than the motorized RV industry. Funny how that works. But first, I promised myself I would not forget the bathroom on this one. And I almost did. Very classic walk-through middle bath design. And you might look at this and go, if I'm in the shower, I don't want to give people a sneak peek free show to my silhouette over here. The good news is you don't have to. Because flipping around from the other direction, you actually see how, like, the bathroom door itself acts like a cutoff wall. Now, that's very normal in the RV industry. I just want to point that out in case you weren't aware. This is a sliding pocket accordion door right here. I think a lot of people would have preferred, say, like a wooden door, but if you look, there's actually not enough available wall space to accomplish something like that right here. So I get why they did what they did, especially considering you got to keep in mind there's a slide that has to come in over there. Now, remember I said it has like a travel trailer 6.5 foot upper deck. Since it does have a step up, that means that over here in the shower, you know, my head at 6'3"-ish is going to have to be in the bubble. Now, twisting around over here, giving you a look at the rest of the bathroom space, I wish a lot of the RV industry would go back to using these bathroom sink covers, because you don't always necessarily need the sink. You know, sometimes the extra counter space in here is handy. The bathroom looks pretty big visibly, but it is a little bit tight on the right-hand side. You can see a little sample of me simulating some business being done in there. One of the areas that I would personally apply some upgrades, like above the kitchen, you saw a ceiling vent, but it didn't have a fan in it. And in here, you see that it has nothing but the 4-inch fart fan. I would definitely personally apply some upgrades to those. That is just me and my 2 cents, which is good for not a whole lot of anything anymore anyway. The shaker style cabinets from the kitchen kind of persist over here into the bedroom space. I'll get all that open for you in a minute. I mentioned though there's an area that the motorized RV industry just doesn't do as well as the towable RV industry, and I get why they don't, but that is bed lengths. Motorized RVs are almost always a short king or queen variety, or if they are an 80-inch bed, it's because they have some weird folding mattress in them that you can never find an easy replacement for. Whereas in the towable industry, a lot of true queens and even bigger kings are really starting to take hold. And you saw all the dresser drawers there. The mattress kind of in the way. I can't give you an amazing look at them, but all 6 of those things that you saw are full drawers. Now, the cushion that we're looking at is the little, that's the sleeper cushion for the dinette if you turn it down into a bed. Up top here, this again, being simple where it should be, fancy where it could be, it's ready for a TV in that overhead area. If you wanted to take those doors off, you could probably flat mount a flat screen there pretty nicely. Or, frankly, if you're like, listen, I like everything about this coach, but I need a TV for my bedroom. Well, give our team a call. I'm sure we can wrangle something like that up for you and have it installed before you pick it up. That being said, I do believe it's time to close the slides and take a look at her in honky-tonkin' road mode. Why do I call it that? Well, because I like to honk the horns on motorhomes, and I've never been to this store before, and these people don't really know me, and I think they're going to wonder why someone's honking their horn. No, it's fine. Yeah, it's just this thing that I do. Oops. All right, so we just made it here to Bish's RV, or the gas station or whatever, giving you a view from the driver's seat. I'm a long-legged guy. This is where I was saying it's still a little tight right here. You got to kind of do the double butt shift and wiggle to get yourself out of here. But, I mean, it's not the worst thing in the world, as it were. But one of the things I really like to stress about a motorized RV experience versus a towable RV experience is there's one major significant variance in how you use them. And that is the moment you turn the key with a motorhome, your vacation starts. It's officially a road trip. when you're towing an RV, it still kind of feels like work. The play hasn't begun yet, but people can get up. You can move about the cabin. You can do some things, you know. That's what I like about these. And this slide is retracted. This is such a wide open, comfortable travel experience. And one of the things that I've tried to be more conscious of educating people on lately is sometimes when a bed is slid closed, you're not supposed to be able to occupy it. This is not one of those. So you have very full function of this RV, including sleeping spaces at a travel stop without ever deploying slides. Very cool. And if you appreciate how we take the time to do that for you, hit that subscribe button. Let's hop outside. So kicking things off right here, let's take a look at the front of it. In the history of Class C RVs, if I looked at a used one, I used to ask people not if but when did the forward overhead cab area leak, because it was exposed to such brutal headwinds and whatnot, and the seams were immediately exposed, and they would stress, and eventually something would always leak. Now again, they went with simple where it should be, fancy where it could be. So they didn't go over the top crazy, but they do have like a full sleeve nose cap effectively over the tip of that puts your seal points in an area of low stress instead of high stress. But I always want to be fair. Something that they're not doing here that say like a lot of your Jayco RVs might do is you see how you still have a forward seam on here. Now that is an area that doesn't get the lift from driving into a headwind. So they've done basically the minimal job of protection here, but they've done something, and something is going to be better than nothing. That being said, the forward trim strip right there on the vertical sidewall area doesn't concern me near as much as that nose cap. They did the thing that really matters right here. The awning space on this is not terrible, as you can see. One of the other things that I really like about this is just inside the entry door, you have you can reach your awning button right from there, so you don't have to go trekking in and out of the RV the entire day. And look at that little Ember over there enjoying some shade from the awning space, although that actually could just be the shade for the building, but whatever. I'm not a sundial. I don't know. Matter of fact, I don't know anybody who is a sundial, so how about that? Our windows are tinted, although that is pretty common in the motorized marketplace. Slide awnings on these, keeping the sun off the top of the slide box, giving you a little extra protection. Right above that bed slide is actually a 190-watt solar panel acting like a bit of a battery tender. Plus, this RV, of course, has its own generator built right in. Sorry, wow, my brain just straight stopped for a minute. They don't use power steps here, which I kind of like, because it means one less thing to break. At the same time, that is a little more prone to getting clipped right there if you're driving over something like a really aggressive speed bump. But that being said, it's not a common thing that I see motorhomes without power entry steps have that step well bashed right there. Something I don't want to forget to point out, though, because I think it's a huge deal on these, is that they do have the power auto leveling where you just push a button and you're good to go. And look at the location of our side view camera mount. That makes sense, because if you flip on your turn signal, you want to make sure that it's clear at ground level. You know, you want to make sure you're not looking over something, that you're actually seeing what matters. This, I love this. I wish more RVs would do this. Such a classic feature. Inside outside trash can. I don't know if you've ever had an RV with one. It is so useful. It is so useful. It's not even funny, folks. That's why I'm not laughing. It's no laughing matter. I'm sorry, it's so stupid. Anyway, just giving you a look at all the outdoor storage compartments. She is winterized currently, but that little access panel right there will take you to a drinkable water filter. And Class C's don't have the outside storage capacity of a Class A. But that is not too bad right there. It goes under the bedroom, under the bed slide. And actually, if you're noticing, there's a little drain plug down there. If you wanted to throw some ice in that and make that, like, basically you could make your baggage compartment a cooler, that would work. Now, personally, that's not for me, because then you got to make sure you really air it out, because if you don't, then you're going to create yourself an organic mold factory down there, which is not my preference. And again, they do a couple little glitzy things without getting too stupid about it and jacking up the price tag more than they have to. Don't get me wrong, the price of motorhomes has increased dramatically over the last couple of years. I'm not gonna, shy away from that fact. I'm trying to be real about things. But the little mini cap at the bottom, the taillight dressing, just a nice little touch. Also, this has, I don't know if I've ever seen a motorhome with a propinus, the gas grill quick connect coming out the back. You know, when the gas comes out the backside. I don't know if I've ever seen one like that. Of course, we have reverse travel lighting. That's become far more, well, I mean, on motorized stuff, it was always somewhat required, but they've gotten better and more aggressive about it. Of course, backup camera along with the side view cameras. That sort of goes without saying. I will clamber my fat butt up that ladder in just a minute. Let me slide over here. Symmetrical outside rear storage bay. This is going to be perfect for like a portable picnic table. And I tell you what, that is something I really am a big fan of, is bringing your own picnic table. At the very least, bring a cover for the, say, park supplied picnic table, because unfortunately, you never know what somebody might have sat on it before you. And what I mean by that is there are some people who put their poo tubes on the picnic tables. And if there's one thing I don't want mixing with my, you know, hamburgers and brats, it's somebody else's stink pickle trafficking tube system. No, thank you. So yeah, bring your own stuff right there. That's just my little personal 2 cents. And notice how all these doors flip down. I love that, because I see so many Class C's and where, like, or anything with storage under a slide, where you have to like duck under the slide to get to it. And you don't have to do that. I mean, you still got to duck under it. I'm sorry. But like, you don't have to fight with the baggage door the entire time. That's what I'm trying to say. By the way, this door does flip up. And if you look inside there, that is your generator, your 4000 generator, which will give you all the function you want on this thing. But remember, with that solar package, if you're going to just park in the middle of somewhere for a while, you've already got an extended battery tender. So that ain't all bad. Although, and here's another thing. Let's say you accidentally do totally drain the batteries down. Shut everything down. The solar will bring the batteries back up enough that if you had to, you could fire the generator and finish the charging and or resume function of the RV. So there's a lot of benefit to having both some level of solar and generator on board. It just gives you a lot more options. Also, let's say you just had that generator running like crazy and you weren't watching your fuel tank. You were camping for a long time. It won't, the generator and the engine share one fuel tank, basically. But the generator won't take that tank below 1/4 of a tank. So you always have a gas reserve to get yourself back somewhere with a fueling station. So between the gas reserve, between the solar and the generator, you've really got to make a concerted effort to screw up and leave yourself stranded somewhere, which I am perfectly capable of, mind you. And remember when I said I was going to get you up here on the roof? I think I said I was going to clamber up the ladder. Well, I forgot. I was putting this footage together in my hotel room last night, and I went, wait a minute. I never looked at the roof, because I think the roof is actually one of the coolest parts of this RV. It was certainly one of the most surprising to me anyway. First of all, like, it's cool that it has that 190 watt roof solar panel up there. That is going to be an excellent battery tender. Now, something like that 12 volt fridge could potentially overpower that. And of course, it really depends on the weather conditions. But remember, you also have the generator built in on this. But more than that, I wanted to focus in on the fact that this has a one-piece laminated fiberglass roof, like a much higher dollar kind of RV. That was a big surprise to me. I was almost kind of expecting some variety of rubberized. Now, remember, you still have things like seals that you need to maintain, so don't forget that. But the membrane itself, the skin doesn't require any kind of specific maintenance, and like if you're going under a tree branch, it's not going to get torn by like just a tree branch hanging down. The one thing I will tell you, getting up here this morning, there's still a lot of cold condensation. It's like 34 degrees right now, so it's almost frozen, but not quite. This gets slick, and it gets slick fast. It is much more slippery as compared to a rubberized roof. So when you are cleaning up here, make sure you have some shoes with good grip so that you don't, take the express route down, as it were. I also thought it was pretty cool that the, oh my lord, I forgot the word. Vent. Oh, wow. It is early. To give you an idea, like the sun is still rising over my shoulder here. I literally climbed the fence to get to the units to record this today so I could get a jump start on the day. So sorry, boss. I broke into the workplace so I could do work. Apologies. I don't know. What I was getting at is it has the big, like, max air vent cover over here. I believe that's for the kitchen vent, which, interestingly, was that a power vent? Now I gotta go check that. Hold on. Then again, I suppose it's probably not the best idea to, document my breaking and entering career here. Maybe that's the next thing for my YouTube channel. I don't know. Anyway, okay, good. All right. I was wanting to make sure. Sometimes I'll see manufacturers do something really dumb, like they will put a vent cover over a non-fan equipped vent. And I am very glad to report that is not the kind of stupidity I'm looking at here. Now, if you'll excuse me, I need to climb back over that fence so I can get back to my car so I can stay warm until somebody gets here.
Lock the door back up. Dispose of the evidence.
Yeah, so, turns out there's already a couple service folks here, and I could have just walked around the back where the gate was open. I really hope nobody watched me jump the fence this morning. Like, what is this idiot doing? Now, another little tidbit and factoid for you. This is a very close sister to the Forest River, I think Sunseekers, something like that. Yeah, not the Forester. I think this is very similar to the Sunseeker series. Apologies, I have a huge pedigree in towable RVs, and I'm kind of building up my knowledge on the motorized stuff as we go. But what I've really learned is that a lot of the stuff similar to the towable RV industry is eerily similar. So my big recommendation for you is you really want to make sure you shop your dealership as much as you're shopping the RV. Because you can find something like this or something similar to it at multiple places. So make sure you're working with a place that, has strong reviews, that give you good feels, and something I always recommend. And keep in mind, this might blow up in my face here at Bish's, but something I really recommend is go with your gut. If you don't get good feels, there's probably a good reason for it. Short of that, check the link in the video description. You can see where we have them available and what we're asking. Folks, I sure appreciate you tuning in. It takes me a long time to build up a big catalog, but like I said, we've got more and more motorized stuff coming this year. I'm not gonna tell you I got 400 videos on motorhomes coming, but there's more coming. So if you haven't done so, if you like what we do here, showing you the good, the bad, with the ugly, with everything in between, hit that subscribe button. Know we're gonna shoot you straight, and leave me a couple comments. Let me know what you think about this one. So take care, stay safe, have fun, and I'm gonna go get some sunglasses, everyone. Wow, it is better than freezing to death, though. I'm not complaining.